And so you would think riding a missile through the city would be the most ridiculous thing you could do with a game. But believe it or not, that's just a regular Tuesday in Shinobi Art of Vengeance. After playing every major ninja game this decade, and even this year, this one just did something I haven't seen since the original Shinobi series, and it absolutely blew my mind. If you're kind of tired of like clunky modern ninja games, you need to see what this combat system in action. From the very first stage, this game throws you in a world that actually rewards skill and timing and not just button mashing. But let me show you exactly what I mean and how this game manages to feel like a classic and as well as a modern masterpiece all at once. And it's from a studio you might not expect. See, let's look at Lizard Cube, right? They have already proved they're the masters of reviving dormant Sega classics with their work on Wonder Boy, The Dragon's Trap, and Streets of Rage 4. But with Shinobi Art of Vengeance, they cemented their reputation as a studio that can make everything old feel new again. This isn't just an anomaly either, it's part of a bigger trend where smaller, more focused developers are taking risks with their art and gaining success to show for it. They're proving a lot of what big budget games get wrong. A lot of what we've been missing is being done right by a new generation of creators and indie devs. You feel that the second you boot this game up, the hand-drawn visuals grab you right away, with every frame resembling a meticulously crafted painting. The art leans deeply into the expressive traditions of classic Japanese manga, creating a gorgeous and detailed world. The music score, crafted by legendary composers like Yuzo Koshiro and T. Lopez, fits the vibe all too well. The score shifts seamlessly, subdued during stealthy sections and erupting into this heart-pounding intensity when the blades come out and some of the big story beats starts to happen. And while the art and music is perfect, the real masterpiece is the journey that you go on. This game is all about the art of mastery. It throws you into the combat that actually rewards skill and timing. The combat system is kind of described as like buttery smooth from the first swing of your sword. It's this stylish 3-step dance that begins with you breaking the enemy's armor with heavy attacks or abilities like the Bomb Ninpo. Once the armor is gone, you can unleash a flurry of combos to fill this stagger gauge. And then once that gauge is full, you see this nice red icon pop up and you can perform what the game calls a Shinobi execution. This is essentially the flashy one-hit kill that is incredibly satisfying to pull off. What's even crazier is that you can chain this to multiple enemies at once, turning a routine fight into a spectacular dance of death. And it's not just your sword and kunais. Joe Masashi has an entire arsenal at his disposal. The game has two types of special moves. We have the Ninpo and we have Ninjutsu. Ninpo are basically spells like the Fire Ninpo, which you can basically blast enemies with a breath of fire. You have the Water Ninpo, which is more of a defensive stance that allows you to parry any attack. And they basically have the cost of Ninpo cells. So if you notice at the right below your health bar, you have these green bars. Those are your Ninpo cells. You basically get one Ninpo skill per of that cell, which you can basically recharge by just landing more combos. Then of course you have your much stronger abilities, which are the ninjutsu abilities. These are essentially ultimate skills that use up a rage meter that builds as you take damage. You can summon a spirit snake with the great serpent Ninpo, or use Karyu to deal extreme damage to all enemies on screen. Honestly, my favorite ninjutsu to use was the Fire Scroll ninjutsu, which basically just deals as much fire damage as possible. But even the water ninjutsu ability allows you to get like basically a free full health bar. You also get amulets. Amulets basically grant new abilities and bonuses, like there's the vampire amulet that replenishes health based on how much you're attacking. There's also the one that strengthens your attacks once you hit a certain number of hits for your combo. And speaking of the combos, we also have the combative system, which has an exceptional amount of depth and advanced players will want to master, like dash canceling, moving in and out of combat, allowing you to like interrupt combo strings to launch into another one, letting you just keep enemies in the air as much as you can while maintaining your combo counter. It's honestly the core of the combat and what makes every fight feel less like button mashing and more like a fluid art form. And this sense of discovery and mastery isn't limited to combat, it extends to the platforming and exploration too. The levels are massive in scale with plenty of verticality that genuinely just makes you feel like a true ninja with Joe Masashi's mobility. The game is not this traditional Metroidvania as the levels are linear, but they are very maze-like and filled with plentiful amount of secrets. As you get new abilities with like the sword dive or the power punch or even the ninja claws, you could return to even older levels to find previously inaccessible areas that you couldn't unlock at that given time, basically allowing you to get some good replayability. And of course, when you do that, these hidden areas reward your efforts with Oboro relics. Now, these relics is a currency end game. There are 5 hidden relics in each stage, and by collecting them is the only way to unlock all of the shop items. So when you come across the yokai, you can add the yokai that is hidden like in throughout the lands. He can basically increase the amount of stuff that your shop can have. And once you spend the gold, you can collect from the enemies in chests on new combat techniques, health boosts. I believe you do get a couple of outfits that I've seen one outfit so far. And it's just honestly really cool. You'll also find hidden challenges as well. And as I said, this is all through the efforts of your exploration. Now, these hidden challenges are called elite squads, which are difficult multi-phase combat fights that reward you with valuable items like lab keys or increased kunai slots, so on and so forth. The level design is also a masterclass, with each stage being visually distinct and memorable, from a lantern-lit city that feels dreamlike to a level where you're trudging through the disgustingly gloopy insides of a massive kaiju. Now, my biggest gripe of this game is called Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Now, when you think of that title, you really gotta take in what that exactly means. The Art of Vengeance. Now, of course, by the time you get to the end of the game, it comes back full circle, but I'm not gonna spoil that for you. But I will say this, in the opening moments of playing this game, Joe Masashi witnessed his entire village is destroyed, his entire clan is destroyed, and his wife, pregnant wife at that, almost is destroyed as well. Now, this story is a textbook tale of vengeance, but the protagonist, Joe Masashi, basically reacts to all of this with a grunt. It's like his emotion is purely physical. He's ready to burn the E&E core down to the ground, but he has no words of vengeance or anger to go with it. Now, that is my biggest problem that I have with this. Now, yes, I know Joe Masashi has always been a man of few words, and you could argue this is him staying true to his character. But with this being the first new Shinobi game in over a decade, and not too many people have ever played the original Shinobi games, it's like this is a missed opportunity to show the fury of a man who lost everything. That is honestly my biggest gripe that I have about this. Like, I wish they would have just a few extra words of dialogue as he's watching his clan get destroyed. Everything he built is now gone. Just a few words. I'm not saying he needs to do a full-blown aura farming dialogue monologue type of thing. He doesn't need to do all that, but just something to just showcase that, like, hey, I'm angry and I want vengeance for the murder, for the destruction of my clan. And just looking at other reviews, a lot of other people agree. They say the story is the weakest aspect of the game. It's a powerful point that often at odds with the game's otherwise stellar presentation. And while we're on that same subject, the game isn't without other minor stumbles. Now, some critics and players felt that a few levels, and I believe this as well, overstay their welcome with this blatant padding. Now, sometimes, like, when you're in certain levels, some of the levels just feel extensively long, a lot longer. Like, it's almost like, oh, hey, I feel like it's about to wrap up, but it's not. And it's just like, oh my God, like, I beat this game in about 10 hours. And like, some of those levels definitely could have been a bit shorter, just a little bit, nothing crazy, but just a bit shorter. And also like sometimes there's like repeated boss fights as well. Like there's a couple of bosses that you end up finding maybe once or twice more than you would want to, especially one of the bosses named I think it's named Kojima. Like you fight him, I believe, twice, and it's like Jesus. And then of course, some of the bosses as you get later on, they got multiple phases. You fight them multiple times throughout the map. Like the Beastmaster boss fight, you fight him multiple times. It's like Jesus Christ. And it's like it can feel a bit tedious. And the one thing that goes back into what I was saying about Musashi's like silent side of character, it's a very jarring design choice where dialogue basically pauses the game. It feels decidedly less impressive when Joe is just patiently just waiting for the bad guy to basically finish their line. And that's where I'm like, there's no fire other than visually. Like you could see it as the game states multiple times. You can see it in his eyes. Like he's a man that is on a warpath. But I would love to actually watch him just showcase this anger other than me playing him, right? I would love it when there's dialogue options where things are being said and he can just say a few words. But other than that, that was like my minor issues. It's not something that ruins the entire game. Like I said, there are minor issues in an otherwise incredible experience. In fact, a game this good makes you hungry for more, and luckily we are getting it. So Sega has already announced post-launch content, including a Sega villain stage. The first boss revealed for this DLC is none other than Dr. Eggman from Sonic, right? And there are 2 other unnamed guest villains to set to join them. And if that's not enough, there's even a live-action Shinobi movie in the works. So you can really see that Sega is really hitting home with this revival. And this goes back to what I think last year, Sega wanted to revive a lot of their old classics and bring them back, like Crazy Taxi, I believe, I think it was Jet Set Radio, and stuff like that. Like a lot of the games they want to bring back, and I feel like Shinobi Art of Vengeance is definitely one of those games where they're like, hey, let's bring back something so far back that it can hit new players and it can hit veterans and people who have played the games back in the day. But even with its stumbles, Shinobi Art of Vengeance is a brilliant action game that plays just as wonderfully as it looks. The combo system for combat is absolutely amazing. The level design and puzzles can truly test your mastery of platforming. You'll find yourself effortlessly clawing your way through to become a front runner for an indie game of the year contender. Now, Sega and Lizard Cube truly did an outstanding job, creating a pinpoint precision strike to the gut of those after some good old-fashioned ninja action games. Now, I do highly recommend anyone to check this game out. This game is at what, 20 bucks, 25 bucks. This is a great, this is money well spent. And honestly, I give it an 8 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10 for my rating. And I only say that because literally I just wish that the story was just a bit better and Joe Musashi's involvement in that story was just a little bit better. But other than that, like I said, those are small gripes. That's what I get. I give it 8 out of 10. Other than that, I wanted an Outcast. I need to know what your thoughts. Have you played Shinobi Art of Vengeance? Let me know what you think about it. Have you played Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound, something that was very similar? Or what's other Metroidvania games have you had any experience with? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. But as always, Outcast, I need you to stay safe out there. And it's been your host, KSD TV, signing out. Peace.